Simone, a fellow classmate. Today I will be presenting on labor-saving device, but specifically I will be looking at the blender mixture. Before we get into the parts of the blender and the uses of a blender, I would first like to enlighten you what are labor-saving devices. So labor-saving devices are devices that we use to reduce the amount of energy and time we use into getting our house chores done. Now, labor-saving device can either be operated into two ways or by two ways. By the uses of battery or by the use of electricity. Now, advantages of using labor-saving device. It helps to reduce the amount of labor and time. It helps to give you good quality of work, and it helps to minimize the cost. Disadvantages of using labor-saving device. Sometimes the investment is usually high. Now the blenders. For some people, they might be wondering what is a blender. A blender can be defined as a device as an electrical device that is found in our kitchen that can be used to mix substances. Parts of a blender. Here we have the cup cover. Here we have the silicone seal ring. Here we have the silicone seal handle. Here we have the food cap. Here we have the high-speed blade rotating. Here we have the speed button. We have the main button. We have the switch button. We have the pause button also. And at the bottom here we have the main base. Here we have the vapor cover. So those are mainly the parts of a blender. Right? Now this blender works by the use of electricity. So we have the point here and we plug it into a switch nearby and it works like that. And we can either cleaning of the blender. In order to clean your blender, these are some items that you will need. You will need some soap liquid, you will need a sponge, you will need a bowl, or you can either use a bucket and your blender, and also a kitchen towel or a rock. So here's my bowl. I'm going to place some water in here, not too much. Show a bit soap liquid, not much. My sponge and my blender. Good. So we want to ensure that our sponge is well soaked in the soap liquid. We're going to take our sponge now and wipe around the surface of the blender. Also in the blender. Now we don't want water to enter at the bottom of the blender, so we avoid wiping around at the bottom to cause internal damage. So we're just going to wipe the surface of the blender outside and inside. Now we're going to wash the blender. After finish washing the blender, we're going to place it on your receiver sink. You're going to leave it for, let's say, 3 to 5 minutes for it to air dry, or you can either dry it with your kitchen towels, up to you. Now, for the blender cover, we want to repeat the same process for our blender cover. Rinse it. And we place it right here so it can air dry also. Now, for the main base of the blender, we normally use a dry rag ensure that your rag is dry or your kitchen towel is dry. We don't soak the main part of the blender because it can cause internal damage. So we're gonna ensure we have our dry cloth or our kitchen cloth, and we're gonna wipe the surface for the main base of the blender. Wipe it around just to remove any kind of particles that may left over from whatever you may blend our snack. Storage of the blender. When storing the blender, always take into consideration to store the blender in a safe corner, either on your kitchen counter or either somewhere in your cupboard, right? But always make sure that the corner is not crowded. That will help to prevent any additional damage to the blender. So I'm storing this here. As you can see, this corner here is not crowded. Yeah, so that's a safe area to store my blender.